this or that? I've got 21 answers for you. This is going to be a fun one. Firstly, I want to thank Davene from Calm in the Chaos Homeschool and Shauna from Homegrown Homeschool for hosting this fun collaboration answering 21 questions about who we are. These ladies have some really resourceful channels, and I totally encourage and urge you to go check them out. You won't be disappointed. And don't forget to check out the playlist after watching this video. We always get the homeschooling aspect, but we don't always know about the real person. And I feel like this is a great and fun way to get to know the person side of who we are, and a great way to connect. So don't forget to watch the playlist and also support the other mamas that are in this playlist by checking out their channels and subscribing to them. In case you're new here, I'm Yuri, and I'm a dentist and a homeschool mom to 5 kids. We're into our 9th year of homeschooling, and I've been sharing about homeschooling for about a year now on this channel. And I know that a lot of you follow me for the homeschooling content. I do want to apologize because I feel like it's been a minute since I've shared homeschooling content, since we've been really busy with the holidays and retirement ceremonies, since my husband just retired from the Air Force, and also having guests and family over from out of town, and also because we've been searching for new jobs, and of course the usual being busy with homeschooling and raising the kids. I feel like I've been pretty stretched thin, but I do feel really good to be back. I'm going to go ahead and jump right in because there are a lot of questions here, and I may have to check my notes just to make sure I'm on track. Okay. Number 1, walk slow or walk fast? I would think that I tend to walk fast. Other than the fact that babies and toddlers have slowed me down, I naturally think I have a fast pace. Even when I'm working in the dental clinic, I find it so exciting to be able to jump from one operatory room to another operatory room, and even be working on a few patients in the same hour. The next question is art museum or history museum, and I'm gonna have to go with history museum. As a kid, I dreaded history, and I thought it was so boring, having to memorize all these facts and pretty much try to relate it to what didn't seem to connect to the real world that I was living in. But after we had lived and experienced life overseas in Europe and in Asia, I have come to really appreciate history, and I just love it so much because history has come to life because we have been able to travel so much and be able to firsthand be able to see and explore. So I have really come to love history. So wherever we go, I'm trying to figure out what is the historical significance of this place, and I just love it so much. And now that I'm a homeschooling mom, I'm really enjoying being able to discover history with my kids, because this is the history that I was supposed to probably have learned as a child, but didn't really understand, and it didn't stick. But now I get to explore that with my kids, and that to me is exciting. I don't know if my kids feel the same way and if it's sticking to them, for them, but hopefully something is being ignited and some sort of a excitement and spark in them. But you know, I'm enjoying it so much. Okay, the next one is beach or pool? Definitely the pool. Something about murky, dark water really frightens me, but I do love, and I loved when we went to Hawaii in 2009 for our honeymoon. The water was so crystal clear and it was just so beautiful. So I don't mind that. But when it's dark and murky, it really scares me. So I'm definitely gonna have to say I much prefer the pool. Okay, the next question is to discuss socialization or how your child will keep up with a stranger. At first, I didn't really understand this question, but I would have to go with I'd much rather discuss socialization, because I know that in the non-homeschool world and when you're thinking about homeschooling, the whole idea of socialization is a big deal. And how are you going to socialize your kids? People are always asking. My relatives, my family, my friends who don't homeschool their kids are wondering, how do you socialize your kids when they're with you all the time? Well, in my opinion, and even studies show that homeschool kids are very much well socialized, and they actually do better with grown-ups and the elderly than the child that has been surrounded by peers of their same age. And if your kid is involved in church, if they're in different activities like Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, or the Christian version is Trail Life or Heritage Girls, maybe they're in band or choir, maybe they're in a team sport, they're getting so many ways, so many avenues. Oh, especially, of course, I forgot to mention CoOp. That's a great way. These are great ways to be able to socialize your child. And even for yourself as an adult, as a homeschool parent, you don't always get a chance to interact with adults as much. But if you're in a co-op setting, if you're in a church group, you're in a Bible study, then you're going to have these ways and avenues of being able to socialize and make friends. And homeschool kids, in my opinion, have no problem with that. And in the real world, when they are done with homeschooling, they're going to be faced with working with people of all age ranges in all different backgrounds. They are getting better training for what's to come in the future. The next one is plans or surprises. I'm naturally a planner, so I'm going to have to go with plans. I like to surprise other people, but I don't like to be surprised myself, especially when it comes to birthdays. I much rather surprise other people. I don't want to be surprised. And I like to know what's to come and what to expect. It's kind of funny because I don't like to plan for homeschooling too much. At least I don't like to plan too much for homeschooling because it doesn't always go as planned. And I feel like I just waste a lot of time planning. But I am a planner, naturally. The next question is educational posters on the wall or none at all. Of those options, I'm going to have to go with none at all because in the past, I have placed tons of educational posters on the wall and spent so much time figuring out where to put the posters, and it was just a lot of planning that was unnecessary because it was almost pointless because we didn't even care to look at the posters. And instead of being educational, they ended up cluttering our small spaces. So I'm definitely going to have to go with none at all. Next is take a Sunday or a snow day. Right now, I would have to say that I'd much rather have a Sunday because I don't like having to get all the winter gear out for a snow day and having to get everyone ready to get out the door because it takes a lot of work, especially when you have toddlers. And especially when those toddlers are not cooperative, it makes it really challenging. And then if there's snow in the car, you got to get the snow off the car and that takes time. And so I would much rather take a Sunday right now, but maybe in the future when the kids are older, then maybe I would rather have a snow day because I do love watching the snow fall and seeing the world blanketed in white. So who knows? But right now, definitely a Sunday. Okay, the next one is clothes on the floor or clothes in the hamper. For us, I like clothes in the hamper. Yes, oftentimes clothes do end up on the floor. You got kids and a husband, you're gonna get clothes on the floor. And I'm really guilty of that because I end up putting clothes on the floor a lot too. So clothes do end up on the floor, but we do have a hamper for all the dirty clothes. So we do try to encourage laundry basketball in our house. The next one is physical planners or digital planners. I know I hear a lot of great things about digital planners, but I haven't gotten myself to try one yet. But right now I would say that I prefer a physical planner. Just like a book, I'd rather have and be able to feel and smell an actual book that we read. I'd rather be able to hold and feel an actual planner. So I'm gonna go with a physical planner. How about a night out or a night in? I'm gonna have to go with a night in because I'd much rather relax and just be able to choose a movie or a show on Netflix or YouTube or Disney Plus and be able to play it and pause it whenever we want to and go to the restroom, go get some food, or deal with any other situations or interruptions. But of course, ideally, it would be ideal to be able to get out of the house with my husband and not have to be interrupted by the kids. But at this point, I'm exhausted and I just want to relax. And plus, having a night in is a lot more cost effective than having to get ready and having to get ready and have a night out and spend money on a dinner and also whatever it may be, a show or a movie or whatever it may be. So at this point, I'd much rather have a night in. Okay, next is, art projects or science projects. I love science, so I'm gonna go with science projects. To me, it takes a lot less prep to get a science project together. I feel like you can just get some common household items and do a science experiment. For me, getting art together is so much more of a mess, and I'd much rather have someone else help out with that. And I'm so thankful for our co-op. We have art at our co-op. So all the mess is there and contained there and all planned there, and I don't have to deal with it. I'd much rather put science projects together than art projects. The next one is vacation or staycation. This one, my answer is vacation, even though in one of the previous questions I answered, I'd rather have a night in, because after living overseas, I actually really do love to explore and go out and learn about the history of the places and get to know the area. And it's so exciting for me and it brings history to life for me. So I do love a good vacation outside of the home. But yes, I have to admit that it is a lot of work to go on a vacation. So a part of me wants to have a staycation, but I do love a good vacation so that we can explore and get to know our world. Okay, the next one looks like loose guidelines or clear directions. I much rather have loose guidelines. I like to have some direction as to get things kick-started, but if there are too many rules and too many guidelines, then it can get kind of stressful to get the project completed. And also, with the loose guidelines, it gives you some wiggle room to make a project your own and be more creative with it. And even with homeschooling, I don't like making rigid plans because I've done that before and it took hours and hours of my planning and we never followed through. So now I just go with some loose guidelines. That way we have some wiggle room to have fun, go out and explore and to address those rabbit trails that may come from what we're doing even in our homeschool. What about summer or winter? I think I prefer summer. Other than the bugs, I like the flexibility of our summertime. We tend to slow down even with our homeschool during the summer and try to do more things that are fun. And the winter is wonderful and I love it too. And we do try to do more fun things homeschool related during the winter as well. But with all that's going on, it can be so stressful, even though I do love the cheerful holiday spirit of the winter. But even getting together all the holiday cards and all the presents for Christmas, it can get a little stressful. So I'm gonna go with summer. Okay, the next one is plan a field trip or plan a co-op lesson. I would have to say I would rather plan a field trip. Field trips seem to be a fun way to break away from your normal co-op day and a great way to build those relationships with your friends from co-op in a different way outside of co-op. And the kids are usually excited about going on a field trip. And on top of that, to me, a field trip is a lot less planning than planning a co-op lesson. Next is clean as you cook or clean at the end. I would rather clean as I cook. To me, it's a lot less overwhelming and chaotic if I could clean as I cook and not leave it all to the very end. And I'm naturally a multitasker, so naturally I would probably be cleaning as I go and as I cook if possible. Fiction or nonfiction? I'm gonna go with fiction. Growing up, I wasn't much of a reader. I am almost a second generation Korean American, and my parents were way too busy chasing the American dream that reading wasn't very much emphasized in our home. I was very weak with reading comprehension, and I just didn't enjoy it. And nothing really stuck in my head. And I actually learned to read late, because reading was just not my thing. I think it finally clicked. Reading finally clicked in my head, maybe when I was around 11 years old. And I have to say, man, the reading comprehension section on the SATs really kicked my butt. It was just not my forte at all. But now that I'm a grown-up and I'm a homeschooling parent, I have come to love and enjoy reading out loud. And I'm getting to catch up with all the literary classics that I've missed out on as a kid growing up. So I'm gonna have to definitely go with fiction. Pizzas or tacos? I love tacos, and especially the soft ones. I love being able to throw all sorts of things into a taco, like the vegetables and rice, beans, cheese, and to me, that's just the best thing ever. Just wrap it all up and it's easy and delicious. Laminator or binding system? I'm gonna go with the laminator. I actually really enjoy laminating things, and especially for all our young elementary years, there are a lot of things that I have laminated and they have lasted for years. And the quality is great and you can keep it and pass it. I'm probably going to pass it on to maybe my sister, and it just lasts. I love that it can last. We do have a cheap binding system, and I have used it, and it was great and all, but I found that I didn't like spending the time making laminated books, because then I can't switch out the pages. So in the end, I ended up going back to a binder system, where you could just throw in a bunch of pages, and whenever you need to, you can take them out or put new pages in. So it was just a lot easier just having a binder. The binding system is great and it looks great and professional, but I would rather have a binder. So in this situation, I'm gonna go with the laminator. Okay, roller coasters or water slides? I'd rather be on a roller coaster. Although it can't handle the motion as well as I used to now that I'm getting towards my mid-40s, but I would rather be on a roller coaster. And I heard that and I read that getting dizzy easily and not being able to handle motion as well might have to do with pre-menopause. So something to look forward to, right? But I would rather be on a roller coaster. Ooh, we're on the last one. Okay, car schooling or outdoor schooling? I want to say I'm going to go with outdoor schooling. We have done the crazy car schooling before, going to our various activities like gymnastics, martial arts, and ballet. And it was crazy, but we were efficient and we got a lot of work done, but it was crazy. So I would rather try the outdoor schooling. It just seems like it would be fun to be able to do school outside and enjoy nature while doing school. So hopefully when the weather gets nicer, we'll be able to try some outdoor schooling. Okay, it looks like that was the 21 questions. I had a lot of fun reflecting on the answers to these questions. And if you enjoyed this video, Please show us some love by liking and subscribing. That will really help our family and our channel out a lot. And we would love to have you back. Comment down below on what questions resonated with you the most. And don't forget to check out Davene and Shauna's channels and make sure to watch the playlist. I can't wait to hear everyone else's answers. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.